In our previous class, we came to know that Sri Maharana did not remain any more ignorant about the mystery of the missing cape, as he was already told how Jhandu had taken the cape of the honorable minister. But the situation changed suddenly. There was no sign of any sorrow or sadness, both in the face of the Honorable Minister Babu Virkishore and Sri Maharana. I saw the minister and Sri Maharana coming out to the veranda. After some time, it was found that both the minister and Sri Maharana came out to the veranda. I did not know how Sri Maharana had explained the matter to the minister. It was not known to the narrator how Sri Maharana had explained the matter of the missing cape to the minister. But the minister was all smiles. But when the minister was seen, he was found in a delighted mood. He was all smiles. It was the most remarkable smile he had hitherto displayed. Hitherto means until then. A remarkable smile could be seen on the face of the Honorable Minister Babu Virkishore. By then, at least half a dozen capes had been procured for him, and the sponsors of Sri Maharana had procured half a dozen capes for the minister. By then, at least half a dozen capes had been procured. Had plus been plus B3 we use in past perfect passive. Here procured means obtained. But he appeared with his head bare. But when he came to the veranda, it was found that he had come there without wearing any cap. He appeared with his head bare. Head bare means without cap. Even to a boy like me, it was obvious that his bald head wore an aura of martyrdom. Aura of martyrdom means symbol of sacrificing for a better cause. Even to a boy like narrator, it was clear that the bald head of the honorable minister wore the suffering, the symbol of suffering for a better cause. No less than 5,000 people had gathered before the specially constructed stage when the minister ascended it, the remarkable smile still clinging to his face. A stage was specially constructed for the meeting of the Honorable Minister Babu Virkishore, and when the Honorable Minister was taken onto the stage, one could find no less than 5,000 people who had assembled there to listen to the Honorable Minister. At the same time, one could see the remarkable smile still clinging to his face. Here, clinging means sticking. The remarkable smile was still on the face of the Honorable Minister. Sri Mahana's niece, the lone high school educated girl of the area, garlanded the minister. And who garlanded the minister on the stage? It was the niece of Sri Maharana who garlanded the minister on the stage. And Sri Maharana's niece was the lonely high school educated girl of the area. When she garlanded the minister on the stage, a prolonged, thunderous applause greeted the event. Here, the event refers to garlanding the minister by a lone high school educated girl of the area. A prolonged, thunderous applause. Here, prolonged means continuous. Thunderous applause means wild clapping. Greeted the event of garlanding the minister by a young girl, because that was the first time the people saw that what they had only heard in the tales of ancient Swambers. In ancient Swambers, it was found a grown-up girl garlanding a man in public. Similarly, when they found the niece of Sri Maharana garlanding the minister on the stage, it seemed to them like the tales of the ancient Swambers. Then the chorus, that welcome song, sung by the children of the lower primary school of the village. Then the chorus, O mighty minister, was sung to the accompaniment. Accompaniment means a midst of the two harmoniums, a violin and a chord. It had been tuned in the Kirtan style, and that welcome song was tuned in the Kirtan style. Then it was Simahana's turn to say a few words of welcome as the chairman of the reception committee. Who was the chairman of the reception committee? It was Sri Maharana who was the chairman of the reception committee. Being the chairman of the reception committee, he delivered the welcome speech. I saw him. I was standing just below the stage, moving his legs and hands in a very awkward fashion. Here I refers to Manoj Das. And where was Manoj Das standing? He was standing just below the stage. As he was standing just below the stage, he could see Sri Maharana moving his legs and hands in a very awkward fashion. In a very awkward fashion means in a very strange manner. Certainly that was nervousness. Even child Manoj Das could understand that Sri Maharana moved his legs and hands in a very awkward fashion due to his nervousness. But with a successful exercise of willpower, he grabbed the glittering mic and managed to speak for nearly an hour, giving a chronological account of Babu Virkisore's achievements and conveying gratitude on behalf of the nation to the departed soul of the minister's parents, but for whom the world would have been without the minister. But with a successful use of willpower, Sri Maharana grabbed the shining mic and he was able to speak for nearly an hour, giving a chronological account. Here, chronological account means account of events in order of time of Babu Birkisore's achievements and conveying gratitude. Conveying gratitude means expressing his obligations on behalf of the nation to the departed souls of the minister's parents. See here, he did not even hesitate to praise the departed souls of the minister's parents, but for, which means without whom the world would have been without the minister. See, in his welcome speech, he went on praising both the minister and the parents of the minister. I was happy that Simahana did well in his maiden speech. Here I refers to the narrator Manoj Das. Manoj Das was happy that Simahana did well in his maiden speech. Maiden speech means first speech. But the greatest surprise was yet to come in the concluding observation of Simahana. But the greatest surprise was to come in the concluding observation of Simahana. Well, many would take Simahana as a pakka politician. The way he delivered his welcome speech, one would take him as a pakka politician. But I can swear that it was out of his goodness, a goodness unbalanced by excitement, that Simahana uttered the lie. As he was very much excited while delivering his welcome speech, he uttered the lie before the huge assembled people. He said, his voice raised in a crescendo. In a crescendo means in a gradual increase. And what blatant lie he spoke before the huge assembled people? He spoke, my brothers and sisters, you all must have heard about the mysterious disappearance of the Honorable Minister's cape. You think that the property is stolen, don't you? Naturally, but not so. Ladies and gentlemen, not so. He knew that Jhandu had taken the cap of the minister, but he told a blatant lie before the huge assembled people that the minister's cap was not stolen. Not so, ladies and gentlemen, not so means the cap of the minister was not stolen. After speaking a blatant lie to the huge assembled people, Sri Mahana smiled mysteriously. The minister nodded. Nodded means shook in agreement. And what did he say in agreement? He shook in agreement his big clean head, which glowed or shone like a satellite. Sri Mahana resumed. Resumed means continued after an interval. And what did he continue after a gap? He continued his speech. You all are dying to know what happened to the cape. Isn't that so? Yes, yes, naturally. You are dying to know who had taken away the cape of the minister. Well, it is like this. A certain nobleman of our area has taken it away. And this was the blatant lie told by Simhana to the huge assembled people. And what was the lie? A certain nobleman of our area has taken it away. It was known to Simhana that Jhandu the monkey had taken away the cape of the minister, but he uttered a blatant lie to the huge assembled people. And what was that? A certain nobleman of our area has taken away the cape of the minister. He also gave the reason why had that nobleman taken away the cape of the minister. Well, to preserve it as a sacred memento, and a certain nobleman of our area has taken away the cape of the minister to preserve it as a sacred memento. Here memento means a reminder of the past. He was obliged to means force, and who was obliged to? That nobleman who has taken away the cape of the minister secretly, because otherwise the Honorable Minister of Fisheries and Fine Arts, who is a burning example of humanity, would never have allowed that nobleman to see or find the cape as anything sacred. That was the reason why that nobleman has taken away the cape of the minister secretly or without the notice of the Honorable Minister. Sri Mahana stopped and brought out of his pocket a handkerchief full of coins, and holding it before the audience said, "Well, ladies and gentlemen, our friend the nobleman has requested me to place this humble amount of 101 rupees at the disposal of the Honorable Minister for some little use in his blessed life's mission, the service of the people through peace and fine arts." He stopped his speech for a moment, then he brought out of his pocket a handkerchief full of coins, and holding it before the audience, addressed to the huge assembled people by saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, our friend the nobleman has requested me to place this humble amount of 101 rupees at the disposal of the Honorable Minister. No nobleman has taken away the cape of the Honorable Minister, but the cape was taken away by Jhandu the monkey. But he told, the friend of ours, that nobleman has requested me to hand over this humble amount of 101 rupees at the disposal of the Honorable Minister for some little use in his blessed life's mission, the service of the people through fees and fine arts." In fact, 101 rupees was not sent to Sri Mahana by any nobleman. It was given by himself only to hide the mischievous characteristic of Jhandu, the monkey. Sri Mahana bowed and handed over the money to the minister, who with a most graceful gesture accepted it. Sri Mahana, with respect, handed over the amount of 101 rupees to the Honorable Minister, who with a most graceful gesture accepted it. Applause and words of wonder and appreciation broke out like a hurricane. Hurricane means violent storm. Clappings and words of wonder and appreciation broke out like a violent storm. Even the minister and Sri Mahana could not control themselves. They also started clapping their hands. Then, of course, the minister spoke for 2.5 hours, drinking a glass of milk in between, at the end of which he declared that as a mark of respect to the unknown admirer of his, he had decided to remain bareheaded for that whole night, although the good earth did not lack for capes, and in fact a surge of capes had already tried to crown his undaunted head. Then, of course, it was the turn of the Honorable Minister Babu Bir Kishore to speak a few words, and he spoke for 2.5 hours, drinking a glass of milk in between his speech. And at the end of the speech, he declared that as a mark of respect to that unknown admirer of his, he had decided to remain without caps for that whole night, although the good earth did not lack for caps, and in fact, a number of caps had already tried to crown his undaunted means fearless head. Soon my shock gave way to double-edged feeling for Simhana, an appreciation of his presence of mind and a sadness for his having to spend 101 rupees to cover Jhandu the monkey's mischief. Soon the shock of the narrator gave way to double-edged feeling for Simhana, an appreciation of his presence of mind, at the same time a sadness for his having to spend 101 rupees to cover the monkey's mischief. That night, all the respectable people of the area partook of the dinner that the reception committee threw in honor of the minister. In honor of the minister, the members of the reception committee had arranged the dinner party, and all the respectable people of the area partook their dinner at the house of Sri Mahana. Glances of awe and esteem. Here awe and esteem means feeling of fear and respect were frequently thrown at the minister's head as he was without a cap, and respect paid to the honorable thief, and respect was paid to the honorable thief. But when I saw Sri Mahana in the morning, I could immediately read in his eyes the guilt that haunted him, at least whenever he saw me. Next day morning, when the narrator saw Sri Mahana, he could immediately read in the eyes of Sri Mahana the guilt that haunted him. At least whenever he saw the narrator, he felt himself guilty because he uttered a lie before a huge assembled people. Sri Mahana perhaps had never uttered a lie, but when at last he uttered, he did so before thousands of people. The way he behaved made the narrator feel that perhaps Sri Mahana had never told a lie in his life, and when at last he told a lie, he did so before thousands of people. God apart, at last there was one creature, that is myself, who knew that he was no longer a man of truth except God. There was one more creature, and it was the narrator Manoj Das, who knew that Sri Mahana was no longer a man of truth, as he told a blatant lie before a huge assembled people. The minister, however, looked extremely delighted as the truth was not known to him. He did not seem to notice with what constraint or control Sri Mahana was conducting himself before him.